I hope everyone is ready to start the discussion. As for today, we'll be discussing on a very serious topic entitled How Schools Environment Can Be Improved. At this moment, we play a huge role in determining the best environment for students to conduct their lessons. It is important that every student gets the best environment to study, as they can have a good learning process and at the same time absorb all the knowledge that is being taught by the educators at school. So I would like to ask you, Nadira, what is your opinion on this? What is the best environment for students to study?
Thank you, Priya. So my suggestion is schools need to be equipped or provided with advanced learning technology, which is by using gadget or device such as computer and tablet. In this 21st century, students' way of thinking is more advanced. That is why the schools should have these technologies in order to stimulate student mind in thinking beyond. Students can easily access to a lot of information through the internet, thus it does not limiting them to learn about new things. Teachers also can provide them with fun activities for them to learn, such as online quizzes and games. Hence, there will be more interaction between teachers and the students, and the learning won't be too boring. Next, students also do not need to bring a lot of books to school since they can access through ebook from the learning devices. To sum up, providing technologies in school for students to learn will be the best option to improve school learning environment, in my opinion.
Well, Nadira, I like your suggestion on using technology for the 21st century students. However, as you mentioned that students have advanced thinking, so this can help them to be involved in inappropriate activities such as being able to access towards pornography to the internet. And teachers are unable to monitor a large group of students, giving a higher chance for students to access these inappropriate websites. Other than that, looking at the computer or tablets or computers for a long time can actually destroy the eyesight, the eye damage. And in conclusion, I don't think that using technology would be the best way.
Yes, that is true. That is why teachers are responsible to monitor the students so that they won't misuse the facility given. And the teachers also need to limit the use of devices for the students, in my opinion.
From Nat's point, she wants to say that computer play a role in making a good school environment, but I personally think it doesn't. This is because when students are be able to use computer, some of them tends to play around, like playing games and watching YouTube. This method will work if only school put a very strict guidelines or rule regarding this issue. First of all, we all should know the definition of a good school environment. A good school environment is a positive school environment, which defined as a school having appropriate facilities, well-managed classroom, fair disciplinary policy. Facilities maintenance is concerned first and foremost with ensuring safe condition for facility users such as students, teachers, staff, parents, and guests. As important as cleanliness or the orderliness and instructional support may be to facilities planners, occupant safety must always be the top priorities. Thus, while it may be difficult to define what precisely constitutes a safe environment, it is fair to say that ensuring safe condition is a major component of effective school facility management and environment. The very first step in complying with environmental regulation is to become aware with their existence and requirements. For example, the table and chair should be enough for all the students, so the students shouldn't stand up during lessons. They will make them less confident and kind of uncomfortable in class, as so many classmates are watching and looking at them. Look at them. This will jump into the topic of well-managed classroom. People should have respect towards each other, so there won't be any fight during the classes. If they don't respect each other, they will end up creating a bother situation in the classroom. And this is again the characteristic of a good school environment, which having well-managed classroom. Not only respect between students, students should also respect their teachers, as we don't want to create any rude scene in the classroom, which will lead to inconvenient situation to other people in the classroom. So, what do you think on it, Nadira?
So I guess I can agree with you, Faika. It is important to set a good class environment so that students will be more interested and confident in learning, and that student safety is should be prioritized in classroom. And plus, I think that my suggestion is not really relevant since it will use a lot of money to pay for the devices cost. So how about you, Priya? What is your opinion?
Thank you, Nadira, but I do agree with Paika. I think that having a good school environment with proper facilities is a very proper way to establish a conductive environment for students. However, I have a suggestion other than to Faika's point, with to agreeing Faika's point. My suggestion would be by planting trees and various types of flowers to provide a green environment. Is because the color green is said to make you feel calmer. And we also learned in the science subject that green plants can absorb a large amount of carbon dioxide and in return release oxygen gas to the environment. So by doing this process of which we call as photosynthesis, it will make the environment surrounding much more cooler, and hence students will be feel more calmer and they will not feel uncomfortable during their lessons. And moving on to my next point, by planting trees and various types of flowers, we can also help the students to be actively involved in managing these trees and flowers. Maybe the students can water the plants during their recess, or they can take care of the well-being of the plants and prevent it from being wilted. And this helps students to develop new skills and new hobbies and new interests. So basically, schools will be helping students to gain knowledge, and in return also helping students to find new interests, which is maybe by true gardening. So in this way, we are killing two birds with one stone. And moving on to my third point will be by planting trees and various types of flowers, it can be also educational to students. So it can help teachers to engage with students in various way. Instead of a very passive learning where you're just looking through books, students can come out to the school's environment and look at the real life model or the real life samples that is right in front of them. Maybe the structure of the plant. They can even look at the flowers, the color of the flowers. They can observe this. And this way of active learning, as we know, is much more efficient than a passive learning where you're looking at the book and just imagining. We are making we're making the students' imagination come to life when they get to see the real life samples at the school's environment itself. They do not need to, or schools do not need to fund a large amount of money to go and visit any orchards or any flowering gardens or nurseries for them to have knowledge about these specific plants. But instead, they can come to the school's environment and look at the plants and the flowers right in front of them. As a conclusion, I think that Faika's idea is the best idea, and I think that we can incorporate my idea with Faika's idea and provide the best school environment for students.
I 100% agree with Priya, as the trees and flowers do change the environment from bad to good, as flowers do provide colorful scenery. This will remain beautiful as long as students don't pick them up. To conclude, school management such as staff, teachers and students should play a role in to give a good school environment. This, if they refuse to do so, students will be facing lots of disadvantages and difficulties in focusing in the classroom. This will lead to lack of focus, and they will end up getting low result. As for final result, they will having a difficult time in searching for good jobs in the future. So I personally think, and we all do agree that schools should provide appropriate facilities as the best way to create the good school environment. Um, I think that's all for today. Thank you everyone for give us a really good informations. With that, discussion dismissed.